And this one's made by like a pretty big collaboration of various different people, which we will credit down at the bottom whenever we get there. I will also put their names in the description of the video, but there's a credit section at the bottom of this document, which we will, when we get there, we'll announce everyone there. But yeah, this is a really big collaboration, really long document, like 44 pages long. I've skimmed over it, I haven't read it in depth, and just let me say, it looks to be very nice, and I've read a little bit, and I'm excited to read more. So let's begin. I suppose I should also make a disclaimer. I do this sometimes at the start of certain videos where I think there'll be a lot of reading. I am dyslexic, and despite years of tutoring, I've learned to read pretty decently, but I might still mess some stuff up, so I apologize ahead of time for that. So, let's just get started then. The Ants. We'd like to start by thanking and crediting our talented members in this collaboration. We've had this in the works for a while, and it's been a great experience working together. And we've got our fingers crossed that this won't be the last project that we can unite on. It's my hope that everyone who takes a look through this finds a part of it they enjoy and maybe falls in love with these ants like we did Bug. If you're heading underground, just remember you're entering their world. And we got a little slifer here with, you see the little sneak peek of the ants in the dark in the tunnels. Young Ant, I think, is how you pronounce that. He's going to be Earth type. Hard-working Earth kinfolk, young ant are the foundation of the hive. The populous and gleefully diligent workers, though playful and naive in mass, they can work through entire mountains using their strong arm determination, making them reliable battlers and great partners. And here you can see like some little animations here. And these animations, I've seen a couple of them, and they are just wonderful. You can just tell a lot of work has been put into this. The people who made this are incredibly talented. Here's some more kind of like concept art, if you will. Young Ant is an Earth type, with a core ability to harvest rock or rarely a crystal out of the ground and use for defense or projectile attack. Young Ant use their strength to cause small shockwaves when hitting the ground. Their claws allow them to burrow to safety quickly. These abilities can help them keep their opponent on their toes at any range and provide some handy defensive options. Young Ant can evolve into Pick Ant, Regant, and Wasp. And once again, let's look at these. Beautiful little faces up here. Pick Ant. I really like the design of this one, and I just gotta say, I really love ant-based creatures. So I am just gonna be hitting like a soft spot for me, so I might be a little bit biased. Although I don't know anyone on the team. I had virtually no contact besides asking for permission to make a video on this. So you ain't gotta worry about this being a biased video. Dedicated to efficiency and more collected than their path selves, Pick Ants hold the most responsibility above and below ground. Underground, they shatter stone as miners, act as tour guides, and look after the young ant. Above, Pick Ants are tasked with working as merchants, traveling from town to town to sell or trade raw gemstones, especially crafted jewelry from the hive. And this is just something I want to point out again. To those of you who don't know, Kindred Fates, the creatures are sentient. They are basically equals in the world. They literally run shops, hold positions of power, all that stuff. It's really cool. Down here, oops, scroll past. Down here we have some more little concept art. Oh, look at him with a little young ant. Pick Ant forgoes the rock throwing or burrowing of their previous form and for a more hands-on approach. They impair their foes with blinding lights, then batter enemies with reckless spinning. Pick Ants, the second most popular group by the hive, only surpassed by the young ants, whom they're in charge of taking care of. Pick Ants is capable of evolving into Antizon, Volcant, and Midamite. Or Midmite, sorry. Wasp, Mecha, with potentially light type or light leaning. Definitely think this is going to look Mecha just from the general appearance of it, but we'll read about them and see. The flying vanguards of the hive. Wasp are a unique male evolution of young ant with a lone task to find land for the hive to mine once the current mine is dry. It flies tirelessly, and once it finds untouched land, it powers up further and dives deep into the earth. If gems are found, they return to the hive and lead a crusade to cultivate a new mine. Yep, I know somebody who would absolutely love these. I'm gonna have to show them this. And you see here some more concept art. Wasp are a male-only branch in the young ant evolution line. Interestingly, combine defense with speed. Wasp are capable of dealing damage with a claw attack that leeches life energy from their opponent, and they can absorb trace metals, mainly iron, from their environment to make their metal exoskeleton stronger. In a pinch, Wasp have a powerful skill they can utilize that requires having absorbed some amount of energy / metal. Alloy mode, where Wasp or Wasp, like I said, I'm sorry, I can't quite pronounce that. Redesigns their metal body to focus less on protection and more on offense. Fun fact, Wasp and their ability are inspired by prehistoric species related to ants. These little monsters drank blood and actually absorbed metal to reinforce their bodies with. That's an interesting little trivia. Regent, Gaia type. Truly rare sight. Regent is a queen that rules with pride and a hypnotic influence over its hive. Due to natural affinity for gems and its constant absorption of the land's resources, it has developed the ability to manipulate the earth and plants that surround it, allowing it to create mystifying underground kingdoms. And look at this, is really cool representation of the Gaia type. As you can see here, just spawning all these little minions and just shooting them out at it. Which is one thing I'm really excited about for Gaia type. Here, once again, some more concept art. Using her crystal sword with grace, a maestro's baton, Regent fires sharp projectiles at foes and commands small ant hills to rise near her, stone-hurling young ants at the ready. Regent has a slew of capabilities befitting a Gaia type as well. Her ability to influence plant life lets her ensnare enemies for minions to attack, and under pressure, Regent can instead throw her healing berries. Interesting. Regent would be the hardest / least likely evolution to obtain, and while internally we've had some ideas about what the prerequisites could be, something like being female exclusive and having some sort of rare ability sounds like a great place to start. Yes, I definitely agree that you could do something kind of like with the Auburn line, where it has, you need Cinder ability to get that one like last tier evolution, and that could be a really cool idea. Overall, I really like this Regent, probably because I have a soft spot for Gaia types. I'm really looking forward to the Gaia Light and Fire myself, and I love just the idea of just summoning all these minions. Antizon, Earth. The sort of hardest working pick ants, the mature and imposing Antizon are the hive's most seasoned fighters, now full-time guards to the mine's entrances, with the strongest by the queen's side. They overwhelm any and all threats to the hive with terraforming power. Antizons use their strengths to attack and defend, able to harvest enormous boulders, to use the bowl towards enemies or to shatter into rock projectiles. They can slam the ground to pop up rock shields to create tremors, allowing Antizon to control enemy movements. Their signature ant head stance is a brutal blow and especially convincing in their low light tunnels as a means of scaring off intruders. Yep, this concept art just shows it right here, and once again, an amazing design. I love the idea of popping up these earth walls and blocking off routes and using them as cover. Like I could see them maybe finding a fire type who's trying to bombard them or something like that, and they just pop up that wall and just wait them out until they have to come in close and then smack them. You know, maybe use something like this, like explosion looking power over here after they get close into them, and it could be really nice. Speaking of fire type, we got Volcant right here. This is one I did spy a little bit when I was skimming through, and I forced myself not to read it because I really love the design of it, and I think it's probably going to be one of my favorites. The Ant's underground kingdom produces finely crafted jewelry, including the astonishingly well treated precious gemstones to trade with others. Volcants power the industry, heat treating gems to give them unparalleled color and clarity, and use their hollow anvil-shaped abdomens as furnaces to smelt ores. They also are responsible for sharpening the other ants' claws. Volcants have a great craftsmanship, but short fuses, and if something interrupts or ruins their work, they might go on a fiery rampage. Here's some more concept art. Really awesome little anvil butt back here. Volcant's powerful claw serves as the main weapon, holding, heating, and then shooting burning material. They can launch molten rocks from their tail, or if an enemy is in too close, they can overheat their body so much it burns anyone who might touch them. Let's see, I just really wanted to point out that this is incredible quality, and looks like something that could fit right into the game, and I would love these guys. They would definitely be one of my top picks for somebody I could imagine seeing on my team. I really like their whole lore and their whole setup. I could see them kind of maybe even having a little bit of a mecha lean, and for those of you who didn't know, like Kindred Fates doesn't have dual types and there's no like multiple damage bonuses, so instead they having so it's like just play styles, almost like a fighting game if you will. And these leans can mean he's a fire type, but he can also use some mecha moves. So that could be something I could see, because he has that, you know, almost mecha-like appearance slightly. So him having a mecha lean could be really cool. Midnight Dark. Manipulated by a strange spore supporting its body, Midnights are typically ousted from the hive for their weird behavior, though it moves independently from the queen's will. It has appointed itself to collect in the hive's waste and with ominous delight. Using its abilities to lure stray ants into its personal den, left unchecked, Midnights have potential to infect and overrun entire hives. The eerie glow of Midnight Spore can reduce foes to a zombie-like trance before slashing and infecting foes with its stinger. Paralytic venom lets them torment and dispose of others by burying them alive. Typically, Midnight's population is low, but cases of pick ants suddenly evolving into Midnights have recently been on the rise. And once again, some really cool concept art, and just their lore is awesome. These are actually one of my favorites so far. I haven't read anything about them until now, but that lore sounds really cool. I'm not a super big fan of dark types most of the time, but this one really convinced me. It's probably right up there. It might be my second favorite of the ones we've seen so far, right below the fire one. I could also see them, weirdly enough, maybe having something as a Gaia lean, because, you know, zombie-like trance on their foes and stuff. Maybe they could like summon these weird little parasites that can attack people or something like that, and maybe poison them or do some damage over time with them. Could be a really cool move for them. And here we are at the credits. There is more after the credits, but here you guys go. You can see here everybody who was involved in the project. I will also have their names down below, so you can look them up for yourselves as you like. And we got adorable little animations here. Collab was in the works for quite some time, and there's been a lot to show for it. So all through the next session, some pieces of art, extra animations, concepts, doodles, notes, and more. There's original designs for Young Ant, Pick Ant, and Wasp. Wasp may seem a little bit of an odd name, but Wasp have misnomers, incorrect name, calling them ants, i.e. velvet ants, panda ants. Both are just wingless wasp species, and the idea behind the name was a reversal of it, calling something winged ant a wasp. Winged ants are usually the royals, with the future queens and males being the only ones in the nest to have them. And honestly, this is just like their original art, and yes, I do agree that this other art is a lot cooler and better and more detailed than this, but I would have been happy with just this. This just shows how talented these people are, is that literally even like their just basic concepts are still just more than worthy of being shared, in my opinion. Concept art for Fire Ant by Box. This idea was sent to me, Bug. After sharing my first designs, I'd say it's responsible for kickstarting the collab. This design may not have been used with the Fire Ant pun, or not be an inspiration behind Volcant. Oh man, I do kind of wish they would have maybe done a little more with this too, because this looks like it would be even more of a mecha lean, fire mecha lean. This one looks awesome too. It would have been awesome seeing it included. And here's some more animations. Unused piece of concept art. A little meme. Full evolution path. This is a Very nice thing to take a gander at here. More just little unused art assets here. More memes. Yep, literally keeping in tradition. All their art, even their concept art, is amazing. And these things are just awesome. Overgrown hive interior concepts. A tree within a cave being kept alive by Queen's power is a great visual idea. Yeah, that is awesome. That leads into her Gaia-line. I mean, well, her Gaia typing. And that could also remind me of the mid-ants having a Gaia-line, as maybe they could corrupt nature, dark with Gaia-line. So maybe they could have like a mid-ant who like corrupted a this tree inside of a hive or something like that and turn it into like a more dark atmosphere. Maybe darkened all these crystals and everything or something could be really cool. Speaking of mid-ant, here they are again. Just have a nice little coffee break. The original concept art for the Queen done before Society had the collab by Cookie. Not Skymill's Cookie, but the same individual who helped Bug revise design for the cat contest. More beautiful Volcant. Giga Ant concept. That one looks pretty cool too. Scaled up version of the animation that you guys just take a couple looks at this so you can see it better. Concept art of a pig ant run shop outside of a mine says cave in. That would be an awesome location in game. I know the devs have so much on their plate, but this is just so amazing. If they could be any way they could put this into the game, I would love it, and like love having this whole little settlement just chilling out by the mountains or something. And then maybe even it could be a dungeon with the mid-ant, like I was saying before. You know how the mid-ant could have corrupted something. Maybe the settlement is like filled with refugees, and then some mid-ant has like captured the queen and corrupted all these things deeper into the caves and everything. That would be a really awesome storyline and a cool dungeon, I think. Here's some trivia and inspiration. Each ant was designed with two things: a job and natural ant behavior. Young ant. Young ant is meant to represent a naive but well-meaning next generation, and the white portion of the thorax is meant to look a bit like an archaic peasant's worker's loincloth. They're numerous, fun-loving, and good at working together. Pick ant, pickaxe ant. Ants are well known for their digging complex underground tunnels, and pick ant has similar traits to the archetypical miner, like a pickaxe and helmet with a headlamp. Get that across clearly. Wasp, valiant wasp, said like wasp with a V, was designed to be a bit like a knight. Male ants have wings. One of their more obvious identifying traits, their metal absorption and vitality stealing, was inspired by extinct real world. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. And its task, mimic male ants mysteriously leaving colonies for extended periods of time before returning, and scouting ants that look for food to the nest. Regent, or regent ant. Regent is a whole lot of wordplay at once. Regents are temporary rulers when rightful heirs too young. Regents are proper rulers of a monarchy, while regents are additives that help. Reagents are additives that help cause chemical reactions and have a bit of association with alchemy. The gem motif was inspired by an anthill garden at actual gems excavated by ants left outside of their anthill. Antazon, Ant Amazon, is a play on Amazon's Greek mythology. Ants tend to have specialized members of the colony that handle certain jobs. Many ant species are designed soldiers who are far larger and stronger than the rest. Ants are also overwhelmingly female, though all female workers and soldiers are infertile. Vulcan ant, is based around fire, ants, and blacksmiths. Its name comes from Vulcan, the Roman name for the Greek god of smithing. Midnight mite. Although mites aren't fungus like cordyceps, they're well known as parasites. This design uses the fungus for zombifying ants, jester theme, play on crazy ants, and gravedigger aspect, being inspired by how some ant species a specialized Undertaker cast to engage in the behavior of burying or removing the dead colony members. Once again, the whole fungus type lean, you know, like the zombifying ants and stuff like that, just their whole zombifying thing, I really think that could be a cool Gaia lean. Some fun stickers. Here's some possible phantoms. Yeah, I really like this idea down here where you can literally have a phantom who has a gym, because it says sometimes they really dig out gyms. More phantoms. Oh, really like that one. There's a phantom, this bottom right one. Really cool. We wanted to give these ants a lot of personality, cover a fair amount of ground with their potential combat capabilities, possible involvement in the world around them. Thanks for reading. Well, thank you guys for making this, and thank you guys for watching. It has been a little bit of a long one, but I hope you all enjoyed. I will leave the Google document link and the links to everybody who made it and all that good stuff down below. Just like always, here are the people again. Special thanks from them, and a special thanks from me for watching this video. Thank you. This has been Bloba. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.